echo?
Oh, yeah.
I'll close it real quick.
All right.
All right, we are recording, but want me to kill it?
Yeah.
All right. Intro.
It's time! Streaming live from Cleveland, Ohio! Presenting the undefeated, undisputed heavyweight podcast of the world, The Big Play Reflux Show!
Okay, do you need medical attention? Yeah. What is wrong?
It's time! The Big Play Reflux Show!
Welcome to the Big Play Reflog Show. What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. I am your host, Big Play Dave, alongside the whole crew. Gabriella Cruz, Nick Padone, Chris McNeil, Dollar Dog Sports. What's going on, everyone?
How's it going?
It's going.
Good to be back. New studio.
Look at Nick. Nick Padone, round of applause. Back in the building.
He's back.
Looks great in here. Glad to be back. Big Play Reflog second show in here. I think Big Play's third total show in here. So,
Look at us go.
Yeah, test show.
yeah.
yeah.
Look at our stats climbing.
Our first official. Chris, what's happening, man?
Hey, I'm just happy to have the band back here. This is great to have everybody together. First show of 2023, it seems weird to say. And now I'm back in the pocket after being out a little bit with a big trip to Disney with the fam, Dave, and I survived.
Scale of 1 to 10, Chris. Disney.
You know, to do it once every 30 years, that's about the right pacing. It's a lot of work, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
To anybody going down there, you can't just like buy a ticket and show up and expect to have a good time. You got to have the app. You've got to have the amenities. You've got to have dinner figured out. You've got to have all your rides for the day set out in an agenda at 5 a.m. Otherwise, you are in trouble. Thankfully, my brother-in-law was kind of all over it for the family. So we had an amazing 4 days down there. It was great. But if you go down, make sure you're prepared. Otherwise, you're not going to have a good time.
All right, I'll bring your brother with my family.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Hey, Browns look
have a
prepared.
brother-in-law who knows his stuff.
That's right, Nick. What'd you say?
Browns look prepared in that second half coming out of the locker room.
That
I
they
wasn't
did.
expecting that.
Yes, they did.
That's a segue right there.
The Pros Pro
That's
is
right.
back. Tonight on the show, we'll get it started with Cleveland headlines brought to you by Shaq News. Then we will have a Labatt Blue Light and compete with Gab's favorite segment, Stump the Flog.
Oh,
Right.
It's back.
I hear are we going football this week?
Little Browns.
All right, a little Browns, Stump the Flog. And then we'll finish up with some big play bets on the Tipico Sportsbook app. It is live. It is legal in Ohio. Let's kick it off. Cleveland headlines.
Cleveland Headlines is brought to you by ShaqNews.com. Shaq News, your go-to site for video games and more. Be sure to check out their featured article, The Shaq News Top 10 Games of the Year, where the Shaq News crew ranks the top games of 2022. And remember, you could join in on all the discussions using the Shaq News Cortex and subscribing to their Twitch channel. So if you're a gamer, Shaq News is the site for you. Check them out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the handle @ShaqNews and @ShaqNews.com.
Chris, by the way, Gab did steal your .com while you were out.
I nailed it,
Oh,
too.
no. Did you nail it? I'm sure she did. She hit the post at everything. She's a pro's pro. That doesn't surprise me.
That's
one bit.
right.
It's
Well
the
done.
raspiness at the end of it that
Yeah,
really
he
just.
puts a little growl in there.
That's right.
.com.
All right, let's talk some Browns in headlines because Washington, the Commanders, we did not think we were going to win that game. Second half, Nick, you just talked about it. We sure look pretty good.
I mean, yeah, it was different for sure. I mean, it was a completely different team that came out of the locker room at halftime. And usually, you know how those things go is usually, you know, one coach adjusts and unfortunately ours usually doesn't. But it seemed like everything adjusted at halftime for, you know, Kevin Stefanski and the game plan for Deshaun Watson. That's really the story, right? He was really able to get into a groove in that second half.
Yeah.
And it finally seemed like things started to click for him. So encouraging stuff. As Bernie would say, you know, it's difficult that playoffs are done and that there's only one game left. But yeah, it was definitely refreshing to see that he looked like the guy that the Browns traded for back in March.
Yeah, Chris, what was your kind of reaction to first half, take a break, second half?
You know, I was shocked. The Browns played like the team that had playoffs on the line.
Yeah.
You know, where you come out flat initially, but then come out with fire in the second half. You would have expected that script to be flipped, you know, for maybe the Browns to kind of look like they're coming out okay at the beginning, and then Washington to turn it on because they got playoffs on the line. But the exact opposite happened, and I was surprised by that. Washington, boy, that's a bad team. That's a bad organization. But it was good to see Deshaun Watson finally get his feet underneath himself in the second half there, get some wide open looks. I'll tell you, some big plays there. Amari Cooper getting into the mix, getting over 100 yards. You had Nick Chubb over 100 yards. It's nice to see kind of those stalwarts on the offense showing up. So that Browns team was encouraging in the second half.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can keep it up against the Steelers this week. And, you know, it starts that cycle. We know it very well here in Cleveland, right? You win
The
some
roller
games at the
coaster.
end of the year. After you're out of it, optimism builds. You have some success in the offseason, maybe a couple of signings. Then all of a sudden we're talking Super Bowl going into next year. So let the cycle continue, Dave. Well done, Browns. Way to beat Washington.
That's right. Gab, any takeaways from this game?
The roller coaster.
The
Yeah,
roller
you should have been
coaster.
really prepared for Disney then, being a Browns fan. I thought our defense looked good too. You know, they had the 3 interceptions. I think it was 8 interceptions in the last 5 games. So that's nice, like complimentary. I guess that's cliche to say, but the complimentary football going on, and obviously, like you pointed out, Deshaun looking good in the second half. So I think they're really coming together. I mean, we have so much time for next season, and I know that Bernie and Hanford, we don't like looking up to next season, but really at this point, it's like, what do we have? 1 game left. We're looking at next season. I think that we're looking at ending on a positive note.
And I feel like, Chris, we've been through this before, where we're like, fire Joe Woods, and then he just like progressively looks better throughout the year. And at the end of the year, you're like, I don't really know what we should do. And then we get to week 1, we're like, fire Joe Woods. What do you think Joe Woods is saving his job once again?
I think so, because Kevin Stefanski's a pretty loyal guy, and I think that they don't want to have a whole lot of turn right now. So I would be surprised if they got rid of Joe Woods. Although the fans and, you know, people like me would like to see change and something going into next year. They have a little bit of success toward the end of the year, and then we're reticent to making a whole lot of changes. And we go into next year, and like you said, game 1 will be calling for his head, halfway through the first quarter?
Yeah.
I think they're
What about Stefanski?
Stefanski save. I think they're going to make they're going to look at all the coordinator spots though. I think
You think so?
Do you think Woods is gone? Do you think Woods is gone?
I
Nick?
think if the right guy becomes available, and I would look at Denver's situation with Avero, you know, they just got rid of Nathaniel Hackett, so that's probably all going to blow up. They have a really good defense. It's just their offense that wasn't any good. So maybe if they could poach Denver's defensive coordinator, they would probably see that as a little bit of an upgrade, as well as Jim Leonard, who is leaving Wisconsin, is a guy that's just there's a lot of buzz out there. He finished his career, if you remember, with the Browns. And had a really nice NFL career, and, you know, now is a coach at the college level and is highly thought of, and he's going to get a lot of defensive coordinator interviews this coming cycle. So I think if they could get one of those 2 guys, then it makes sense to move on from Joe Woods, because I'm with you, Chris. When we know this, you know, Jimmy Haslam is just as big of a fan as we are, and that when things don't go right, he wants someone accountable. And I think this season it might just have to be Joe Woods.
All right, so we have a chance to ruin another team's playoff chances this week, and that happens to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Slim chance that they make the playoffs anyway, but how sweet, Chris, would it be to eliminate the Steelers
Oh, yeah, we've talked about it before. The classic Steelers game at the end of the season, right? Where you're just taking down the tree, getting the holiday put away, and the Steelers are just rolling over the Browns. That's happened so
Yep.
many
Yep.
times over the years. And it would be nice to flip that script to take them down and then cost them the playoffs, so that they only have a slim chance, like you said. But man, just to put the nail in the coffin of our arch rivals, I would love that, Dave. That would be a capper, and that would be real positive vibes going into next year. And hell, it would just feel good in the moment to beat those damn Steelers and take the sweep.
Yeah, first sweep since the Bernie days.
Yeah.
When
Incredible to think
Yeah.
about. I can't believe we haven't
1988.
done it since then. That's amazing.
How about this? I don't know what if you guys saw this or what you think of it. I saw he was getting a little bit of flack on social media. Myles Garrett today said there was a quote about him having the opportunity to end the Steelers' playoff chances.
Uh-huh.
And he said, "We live for times like this." It's like, really,
Yeah,
man,
you
you,
know,
you live to be
well-
eliminated at the end of the season. And
I feel like that's not the whole quote, right?
I mean, no, that was the whole quote. It was, "We
Oh.
live for times like this. We'd love to keep the Steelers out of the playoffs."
Well, maybe that's all you can do.
I'll give him a break. What's he gonna say?
I
This
know.
one,
I
yeah.
I wish he
exactly
would
right.
live to not blow a historic game against the Jets is the only thing.
I'm giving him a pass.
Yeah, because what do you
It's
say?
it's the Michael Jordan, where the wait staff wasn't fast enough in Utah, so all of a sudden he drops 51 on Utah because he lives for that, just
Yeah.
looking for any reason for
Right.
motivation, and that's basically what Miles is doing is, hey, we live for this. We live for a challenge, and there's a challenge on the table there. Ultimately, we want to be making the playoffs. We want to be living for Super Bowls and things like that. In this case, we don't have those as an option. So
Right.
this happens to be the challenge on the table, so I have no problem with it. Hey, whatever
Yeah.
gets you up for a game like this, just go out there and roll the Steelers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be the first sweep since '88, and Tomlin has never had a sub
500?
500 season.
That's incredible.
It is.
And Pittsburgh fans,
He's gonna
like,
be real pissed if it's that extra game that did it to
yeah,
him.
and like they call for his head every season. The Pittsburgh fans turn on him as quick as we turn on coaches. It's a similar
Yeah.
fan base. I'm not explaining that to anybody, but man, to think that he has never had a losing season and this could be his first one, I really hope it is because for the Browns, it sucks to talk off season and second round pick in the draft and free agency, but it would leave such a nice taste in the mouth to have the arrow pointing up on the organization heading into
Right.
2023. Because you look at some of the things that need done. Jadeveon Clowney, do you still want to play with Deshaun Watson, or are you going to find somewhere else to
Right.
go? There's a lot of key guys that could still be here. And the last thing you want to do is get rolled over by Pittsburgh, like Chris said, as you're putting your tree away.
Yeah. Speaking of deflating moments, Ohio State
Oh, my
Buckeyes. We had our New Year's Eve party here. The whole crew just about was here. Midnight. Kick goes up. Wide left. 45 yards.
The ball dropped at midnight, all right.
Oh, boy.
Weird, ironic series of events at that moment.
Yeah.
I have the video of your reaction.
I do too, and it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was brutal. Midnight losing. They played so well.
They did.
By the way, that was a fun party.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Really good
Shout out
time.
to Ken and Mary for throwing that together. The Big Play Studio party, soft opening. Happy New Year.
That poor kid.
Yeah,
I know.
it's rough.
Yeah. Let's just move on. We don't
Well, I'll tell
we
you
don't
what,
really need to talk
fortunately-
about it. But Chris, any thoughts on that?
Well, I had a chance to listen to some sports radio today here locally in Columbus as to see what the reaction is. And you start to talk about the kicker and poor guy, and that was the reaction. I was standing next to Bernie Kosar, and he's like, "I feel bad for that poor kid."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
fortunately, in listening to sports radio around here, they talked about, the defense. They talked about Jim Knowles. They talked about it being a team effort way before they even got to even the kick. I think people
That's
were
good.
taking a longer view on this one that, hey, there were collapses. There were team letdowns that put us in the position where a kick would have won it right there. So not putting it all on the kid. Hopefully he's not getting any death threats or anything like that. I know a particular kicker who used to play for the Ohio State Buckeyes, who's now in our industry. And he described getting death threats to me back in the day.
Wow.
So hopefully that's not happening now for that guy, because
Yeah.
certainly this is a team effort, right? And I was actually, and I think you guys were too, very encouraged as we were watching that game. It was amazing to see, nationally, everybody's just dogging the Buckeyes, saying we're going to get run out of the building against Georgia. And I was even saying the same thing. I mean, come on.
Everyone was.
Yeah, universally. And the Buckeyes showed up, and we should have won that ball game. We should have won it. And if it wasn't for some of our collapses down the stretch, we would have. So, I don't accept those kind of things from the Buckeyes because, they're the Buckeyes. So you can't just walk away and go, well, we were close, so yay. So I'm not taking those as any kind of moral victories. But at the end of the day, this is a better team than what we thought. This is a team that could have gone far. And really, it could have had national championship aspirations. You win that game if that kick goes in. So a little bit of encouragement at the end of the year. Got a lot of work to do, but I feel better now than what I did after we lost to Michigan. I got to be honest with you there.
Same.
And Chris, how do you feel about CJ Stroud? Because looking at the draft, looking at the end of his OSU career, I didn't think I wasn't quite as high on him as some people were saying, but he put together one hell of a performance against definitely the best team in college football.
We saw two coming outs of two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And that was Deshaun Watson. That was CJ Stroud this weekend. And he had a fantastic game. He really looked like the guy that he was billed to be, the Heisman candidate for real. Not the guy who was kind of parading around against Michigan and in some of these other games, not doing the things that we thought. And really the dynamic playmaker. And, it'll be interesting to see how NFL talent evaluates him. But that was a heck of a way to go out. Too bad he didn't get the W there, but he had a good career for Ohio State, and I'm excited to see what he can go on to do.
I mean, I think definitely a lock for top 3 pick, right? Top 3 NFL pick.
Do you think so?
I think so. I mean, look at how many quarterback needy teams are right up at the top. You got Houston and Indianapolis, 1 and 2 right there. They both need a quarterback.
Yeah.
So I think you have to expect one of those guys to just, Bryce Young could go 1 and maybe CJ 2, or maybe a defensive player and then Stroud at 3. I think he could be a shoe-in for top 3, and we'll be able to bet on the
That
draft
to me
this
is
year.
incredible.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
That
All
to
the
me is
different
incredible.
markets. But you don't think, Chris? Why do you think you don't think that he?
No. It's just everybody's looking for. If you're looking for a quarterback, he's going to be up there, right?
Yeah.
But he's not the type where you see his effort this year and you go, man, I gotta have that guy. It's like he's a little bit of a project for a top 5 pick, I think.
I'm with you.
A lot of natural talent, very raw, right there. I'm certainly not dogging the guy. I'm a huge fan of his. But if I'm an NFL professional team, I'm saying, at the big moments, this one he came up big, Michigan.
Yeah.
Like, what am I really getting here? And I'm also a little nervous for an Ohio State quarterback, to be honest with you. And I'm an Ohio State fan.
When was the last good
Fields.
OSU quarterback? I mean, outside of Fields,
Fields right now,
right? Which we weren't sure about, but he looks awesome. I mean, you had Cardell was the 3rd round, played for the Bills for a bit.
Terrell Pryor.
Yeah, 1,000-yard
Friend of
receiving.
show, Troy Smith played for the Ravens.
Yeah, he actually had a decent career as kind of a backup. He had some starts, but you don't see many OSU quarterbacks pan out in the NFL.
Especially
Mike Tomczak.
Craig Krenzel before he.
Krenzel played for the Bears.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Look at too, like what we saw from Deshaun Watson in that second half and how he was able to evade that pressure. I mean, the Browns' offensive line has taken such a significant step back, and we saw what Deshaun's mobility was able to create for his arm. I think that's what CJ lacks, though, man. I think if you touch CJ, with your pinky finger, he goes down, and you can't have that in the NFL. The way that things are heading with these mobile quarterbacks that could run around and, create plays for themselves on their legs to gain yards, but also just escape pressure and get rid of the football. It's a new era, and I think CJ is kind of stereotypical stand in the pocket, take some big hits. So I think that and like the lack of mobility is what scares me more so than anything with the, big moments and being a little bit of a project. I think the fact that he's just kind of slow is like his biggest downfall right now.
Well, we shall
But
see.
you still say a top 5 pick easily.
I think he is just because of supply and demand. I mean, then people are getting somebody's going to.
How nice is it though that we're not leaving into an off season where we need a quarterback?
So nice.
Isn't that nice?
I don't know. Maybe they'll draft a backup quarterback in the 7th round, and we could look at his high school stats and college stats.
Oh,
and
you got to keep the sneak god.
Convince ourselves that Sneak God's getting paid, guys.
Cody, if you're listening on your way home, we need a sneak god T-shirt.
Sneak God forever.
That's right. Gab, any thoughts before to delay Stump the Flog?
Okay, because I'm just cheating looking at this Cavs game right now. And
Which no one can see. The
no one
magic
can
of
see, yeah, but I'm
production.
sweating
Dollar Dog
over
Nick.
here. Man, it'd be cool to pull this one off because they were down by a significant amount.
21. They were down 21 at one point.
Wow,
Now they've
so it's
come all the way
128,
back in this
125,
one, down by
18
3.
seconds left.
Guys, can I just say
Woo!
too?
It is kind of cool. You can't see it, but we are. I'm just like, come on, guys.
I gotta say, and I know Chris probably sees it a lot. Is I feel like Cavs Twitter has taken a dark turn as of recent.
Really?
Oh, I haven't seen it. I've been out of pocket for a week. I was really off of Twitter while I
Are
was
they
in
turning on this team?
It's getting a little dark out there, man. And there
Yeah,
it's
I
the
noticed.
it's
like Brown's dark?
Yeah,
Is it Brown's
no,
Twitter dark?
no, it's never
Brown's
Brown's Twitter
dark.
dark, but it's getting weird out in the Cavs streets of people turning. There was a couple days there where people were really turning against Darius Garland. It's been weird. Cavs Twitter's been weird, so they needed to just keep stacking these type of wins. Hopefully they could close the show tonight, but yeah, Cavs Twitter's been a weird place lately. I don't really like it. Like the Cavs are fun meter. Like to me, the Cavs are still pretty fun, but man, you ask Twitter, and this team's a first round out in the playoffs. And people are all pissed about
They're
it. So.
23-14. Hopefully they get a 3-pointer here. Go to overtime.
Yeah, I mean, their starting lineup average age is probably 23 and a half. Like they're going to be okay.
You can't. It's like baseball season. Like
Yeah.
you can't read too much into it when you're only 23, 33, 37, 38 games in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like 4th and 5th seed in the East. Like they're all right, guys.
And that's encouraging to rally back 20 points.
All right, quick show break for 10 seconds.
Woo!
Jared Allen, we're just going to break this down for you.
On a delay makes for great.
8.9 seconds
Yeah,
left.
right.
Down by 1.
Down by
Timeout.
1, 8 seconds timeout. All right, back to our regularly
we go.
scheduled programming.
We're going to make
How
it.
about Donovan Mitchell tonight?
Dude,
Throwing up,
balling out.
a clean 55 so far?
Career high, Chris?
Yeah.
It's got to be, right?
Career high, yes. 4th highest, tied for 4th highest point total in Cavs history.
That's pretty incredible because typically when you have a superstar on a kind of a crappy team, like where Donovan Mitchell was before, like you would think his career high would be there, but now he's on a good team and he's still doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say. And he knows. He's one of those guys who instinctually knows when he needs to just put the team on his back. And that's what he did. When the Cavs had no life, when they were down by 21, Donovan Mitchell is the guy who you could just tell. He's got that look in his eye of like, okay, I'll do it myself. Cards down, pick it up. I'm going alone. And Donovan Mitchell did that tonight. 55 points, 17 of 29, 17 of 21 at the line, 11 assists. I mean, career highs for points, free throws. He's just putting it all together tonight.
We saw last season, too, how important it is to have a guy like that come playoffs. We saw it in the play-in game where someone was just begging, take over. Nobody did. Now the Cavs have that guy, and I really do think come a 7-game series, having to guard somebody like that is just exhausting mentally, physically, emotionally, you name it. Donovan Mitchell could be a secret weapon, no secret, but the biggest weapon come a 7-game series time.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say if he's a secret weapon, he's hidden in plain sight, going with 55 tonight in the talk.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know that he is, but he should be in the MVP conversation.
He should be. The NBA MVP.
They never put him in
drives me
there. I mean,
crazy.
they go through
It's
the
a
top 5,
stupid
and they never
award.
have Donovan Mitchell up there because he's not the big name
Yeah.
yet,
Popularity
but he should be
contest.
there.
Yeah,
Alright.
Luka, Jokic for the third straight year, just because he puts up a triple double every night. It's so annoying. But yeah, when you look at what that word actually means, most valuable player. Yeah, take Donovan
LeBron
Mitchell
would
off
have
the
won it
Cavs.
15 years in a row.
Yeah. 8 strips to the NBA Finals to the worst team in the league. Says LeBron should be MVP every year. So
That's right. All right, let's do some Stump the Flog. I'm getting anxious. I want to see what this is.
yeah, we have no idea. What are teams? We got to set teams.
Dollar Dog is on this segment, so he is going to set teams and give us the topic.
All right, guys, we're winding down. All right, they fouled my.
All right, we got 4 seconds left in the game. We'll try to
Woo!
keep an eye on it and do both. Since we have all 4 people back,
Yep.
welcome, Nick.
Thank you.
Let's go Chris and Gab.
Okay.
And then Gab, if you don't mind scooting to your left a tiny bit.
Sorry, I keep cutting off, don't I?
Yeah, that's all right. And then we'll go Nick and Dave. So we'll have 2 versus 2. Cleveland Browns, kind of a mix. It's a little bit of history, but most of them are pretty recent. So this year, hold on. That's not the right music, but if I hit it again, we'll kill it.
I don't know. Try it. There you go.
All
Killed
right,
it.
that's our new music for the Stump the Flog.
Oh, boy.
Um,
The default music.
So this year, Amari Cooper became the 14th different Browns player to have 1,000 yards in a season. We're going to name the other 13 players who've had 1,000 yards in a season for the Browns.
Okay.
Most of them are post 99. There's only a few oldies in here, but so we'll go ahead and go back and forth. Let's go, since Nick is back today, let's go Nick and Dave. You get first pick.
All right, so should we go like an easy one first? Or
Yeah.
should we- Okay.
Well, I don't know. If you have one from the archives, pull one from the archives. 'cause
Go recent, and then I'll try to pull some from the archives.
all right, I'll go recent, but one that probably is a little bit of a difficult one because it's easily forgotten. Odell Beckham Jr. did it in 2019. They were force feeding him
Yeah.
to
Odell
get that
did.
1,000-yard season.
And before Chris and Gab go, I will say there's 2 that I don't think we're going to get, but we'll see. You guys might surprise me. There's 2 that they're. We'll get there.
1,000 yards
All
in a
right.
season.
Yes. So Chris and Gab,
So
we
these
need
are-
1,000-yard
These
guy.
are all-time receivers for the Browns who have gone for 1,000 yards
Single season.
in the single season.
Yes.
Okay. How about Josh Gordon?
Josh Gordon did.
Gab, you good with that? All right.
Should we go Braylon Edwards?
All right, I like it.
Little DA to Braylon.
2007.
What a year. A magical year.
Back to Gab and Chris.
How about my
historical is
favorite
this?
guy? Does it have to be a wide receiver, first of all?
No, any
Just have
player.
to be 1,000 yards
Oh.
receiving.
Very interesting.
So, how about a
then-
guy who I went to see a movie with and like to take Clevelanders out to movies?
Big play.
Gary Barnidge.
Big play, Gary
Play
Barnidge.
Gary, 2015.
I love Gary Barnidge.
Yeah, he was great, and he's still doing that football stuff over across in like third
Yeah.
world countries,
Yeah.
right? Where he's like teaching them football. And,
Yep.
Really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was a neat program that he was a part of.
All right. How many do we have left?
9.
9 left. Nick?
All right, I'll
Back to
go
you.
with another recent one. The guy that started the turnaround, Jarvis.
Heck
Jarvis
yeah.
Landry.
Didn't him and Odell have it in the same year?
Yep.
I think, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
2,000-yard receivers.
Gab,
And they
Chris.
won 6 games.
Freddie Kitchen.
I can't think of anyone besides our current team.
You're a lot of help. Did anyone go with Kellen Winslow?
No, he is there. 2007.
I'm a soldier.
And this is all time.
Ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
1,000 yards.
Anyone who's ever got 1,000 yards in 1 year.
And are you saying there was only 2 pre-99?
No, he said
No,
most
there
of
were
them
2
are.
that I
right?
don't think we're going to get. There's
Oh, okay.
1, 2, 3,
What about
4 pre-99.
Webstar?
Yeah, Bernie's guy Webster was going to be
Webster.
mine.
Webstar
Yeah.
Slaughter.
Yep. 1989.
How many do you have in 1989? Do you know?
I think he was third at probably like 1,200 and something.
Okay, yeah.
Upper
yeah.
12s.
That was all Bernie. And Webster was good.
All Bernie.
A lot of deep bombs to Webster.
There's another guy on that team. He's
Local
he's a Hall
guy.
of Famer by the name of Ozzie Newsome,
Yeah.
who I don't think
Oh,
anybody
yeah.
said yet, right?
He is one of only 2 guys to do it twice.
Whoa.
Hey-o.
There we go.
And
There we
he-
go.
And he
Does that
barely.
mean we get a pass on the next one? since he
Ozzy,
did
we're
twice?
trying to get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
He had 1,001 one year and 1,002 the other. So he's nothing but consistent.
Interesting.
All right, I got one. I can't believe nobody stole it away. Terrell Pryor at 1,000
Yeah.
yards
Terrell
a
Pryor.
season.
I know I shouldn't have name dropped him.
I really wanted to re-sign him too.
I know, I
the
did
team was
too.
just so bad.
Yeah, I mean he was good. He
was really
He
good.
did things that were legitimately good. Like it is kind of surprising.
Who
that
was
he's on the
throwing to
league,
him?
But who wasn't? That was the year
Was
where
that
they
the-
went through like
yeah.
a million different.
He was throwing to himself at one point. Didn't he?
Yeah, he was taking reps at emergency QB, and they put him to
Yeah.
Wildcat a couple times.
Crazy.
That was a wild time to be.
That was
a Browns fan.
2016. So who was that? Because that was right before Kessler, right? Because
No, that was before
Trust me.
Kaiser. So it was
It was
Kessler.
Kessler.
It was Connor Davis. It was
yeah.
Shaw. You know, there
Okay.
was, yeah.
all right. So who are we on now? Back to Chris and Gab.
Back to Chris and Gab.
All right, guys. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 left.
How many do we have left?
4. I read your mind.
Are there any on the current team for Gab?
No.
4 left, 2 we're not going to get. and
2
this
of them
is-
I don't think you're
Chris,
getting.
this is your.
Chris,
This is all
time to
Chris right
shine.
two
here.
of them
Yes.
are really old. One from the 40s. That's one I don't think we're getting.
I won't know who that is.
And then one from the 60s. And then 2
like
post
Max-
99s.
Oh, there's okay. The other two are post 99.
Yeah.
Like Max Speedy or something.
Say that
I'm gonna
again, Chris.
go with Antonio Bryant.
Gosh, that's the one I didn't think you were getting. Antonio
Wow.
Bryant, 2005.
What?
I don't
Wow,
remember.
Nice
Chris,
pull on that, Chris.
I don't remember that.
It was either that or Max Speedy, and I went with Antonio Bryant. AB, baby.
Trying to read Dollar Dog there.
I know. I think we're gonna go with Max Speedy here next.
Final answer?
That's risky.
I have a terrible poker face, but
Yeah, Max Speedy.
Well,
Max Speedy, 2-time.
Yes.
He's the other 2-timer.
I never even heard of Max Speedy.
That hurts, man.
Dollar Dog, you gotta come over for poker.
We let him into that. We let him
Right here.
right into that.
So
We'll
Chris,
deal him after the game.
Chris pulled both the ones I didn't think anyone would get in the same turn: Antonio Bryant and Max Speedy.
Okay, so there's
There's 2 left that should be understandable.
one post 99 left, and one,
one
from
from the
like
60s.
the 60s. I won't know that one.
And I always thought the 60s one was more recent, but
Brian Brennan never had 1,000 yards.
nope.
No.
That wasn't my guess, but
Actually, we're back to Chris anyway, right? Chris and Gab,
Back
2
to
left.
I don't know if anybody said this. Caught the touchdown on the first New Browns victory back in '99 against the Saints from Tim Couch. Kevin Johnson.
Kevin
oh,
Johnson,
I was gonna go
Yeah,
KJ.
me too.
2001.
I'm out now.
Our final one. All right, David.
All
it's
is in your
the
court.
up to you.
60s.
1968. He's a famous Brown.
I actually can't believe Max Speedy was on there. That was I
Yeah,
kinda
that's a
threw that.
pull right there. Thanks for the assist.
You're welcome, guys. I kept you in this ball game.
1968,
and is an all-time
and it's a
Brown.
name most people would recognize.
Yeah. He's known for us and the Dolphins.
Oh, that's yes.
Sorry,
That we
Chris.
traded him. I forget his name.
Paul Warfield.
It is.
There it is.
Oh, he's all over the stadium.
Yeah.
Did you look that up?
No.
I don't know if I believe him. He said no, kind of weird.
He was looking at his
I
screen.
heard
It threw.
some fever.
You
Yeah.
saw some clicking over there. Show me your screen.
Show notes.
Show notes.
I'm
We
on to
win.
the third.
Oh no, wait. We
I'm on
tie?
big play bets.
Okay.
That should be a
No
tie
way.
since we gave them
No
Max
way.
Speedy.
I looked up
Mm,
former Browns Miami Dolphins, and then he came up.
cheater.
Oh, you did?
Him and Jarvis are who come up for
Wait, you're
former-
cheating?
I just looked up former Brown and Dolphin. And Paul
Oh, he
Warfield came up
cheated.
with Jarvis.
There he is.
Gab and Chris win.
Wait. You cheated?
Is
Yeah.
that cheating? Former. I
You
didn't look-
Googled it?
He
I
claims,
googled the.
that cheating?
I
Is
googled the
Googling
hint.
cheating.
The hint.
he claims he's enlightening us.
You can't look stuff up during Stump the Flog.
Oh, all right then. Yeah. I thought the hint would be fine. I thought if I looked up the list, then yeah.
He's Siri.
If you Google the hint, his name's gonna come up.
True.
All right, we lose.
All right, we lose. We
had-
wouldn't have gotten it anyway.
There were a couple close ones I thought you might guess. Travis Benjamin. He had 966 one year.
Yeah.
yeah.
966.
That-
Wow.
I- was-
15.
Yeah. Was that
rabbit.
Johnny? I think it was.
It
Or
might
was
have
it
been 'cause
Hoyer?
Hoyer was 14. That was the year that we got off to the hot start. So I think
Right.
it probably was Johnny.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was
And
like the
then-
only guy that he could ever find.
In 02, someone got 964. Anyone want to guess who that was?
In 02.
2002, 964 yards. Not Kevin Johnson.
Couch was still the quarterback.
Yeah.
99.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I have his autograph, actually. It can't be worth anything.
Shoot.
So it's not notable then?
Chris, what do you think? You got someone?
He's memorable, but he wasn't great.
Say that again.
Wide
I missed
receiver
it.
2002 had 967, did you say?
964.
964.
2002.
I could see
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, it's
in
overtime.
overtime.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We're up by
Braylon
3 in
Edwards.
OT.
I don't know.
Who is it, Nick?
Quincy Morgan.
Oh.
Q. Yeah.
That's like you see him on like obscure Brown, like those Twitter pages, obscure Browns. People will put Quincy Morgan up there.
964. And then Jordan Cameron had 917 and 13. So
You
we
know,
had a couple recent guys.
After Gary
Put that on
Barnage,
there.
I was tempted to say Jordan Cameron, but I was like, there's no way he ever hit 1,000.
What
But
Kellen
it's-
Winslow Jr. have?
I think it was just over, right?
I think so. Yeah, he was one
Yeah.
of the lower ones. He was close-ish another time, I think. Ozzie Newsome was on there twice, and then he was close a third. I think he had like 970 a third year, so he was Mr. Consistent.
That's amazing.
That was a good one, Nick. Good work.
I can't believe Odell got it in 2019.
You're right, though. They force-fed
know.
that.
Yeah, that last game. Remember, because that last game where he got it, I think he scored a touchdown on the play that he got 1,000 yards receiving, and he took off his helmet and he was done. That was it for Odell for the rest of the year.
That's funny. All right, so who won? They won because Nick cheated?
Yeah, Chris.
All right.
Chris, and you guys stole Max Speedy, so they
Yeah,
kind of
Yeah,
won.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Chalk one up for Chris and Gab.
Chris put the team on his back, just like Donovan Mitchell.
I'm the
tonight.
Donovan Mitchell of this team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is he at 60 yet?
Now the Cavs.
Good- good
are
thing
up
we
by
didn't
5.
Take too long of a break.
I know, because then it would have been
We'd still be
overtime. It would have
watching
been like,
this.
oh man.
All right.
All right.
Let's move on. It is time to look at some big play bets.
Steeler week.
All right, we are pulling up those Tipico Sportsbook apps on the phone. Get ready to bet all season long with the show crew. Browns, Steelers, Cavs, NFL playoffs, a whole lot more. You can bet anywhere, but at Tipico, you'll get the best odds here in Cleveland, Ohio for those Cleveland sports teams. Must be 21 years old. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Tipico Sports, the best odds in Cleveland. And what we mean by that, so if you, let's say you go and bet Browns Steelers and just say it's plus 110, which, Gab, means that we're not favored. Means we're supposed to lose.
Correct.
If you do that in, a different app, okay, you're going to get plus 110. If you do it in the Tipico app, they're going to do a big play boost on that, and you're going to get more money for your bet. So if you're doing the same bet, you might as well do it in Tipico. Go use our promo clip URLs and download that app.
Hey, how about that boost against the Commanders? That was one that a lot of people, I put out a tweet before the game. I was like, are you betting on the Browns? And a lot of people, no, I'm smarter with my money than that. Tipico put out a boost. I think they had it up to like 135, 145.
Yeah, it's
I was
significant.
Like, I was like, that's juicy. Put one of my
Yeah.
$25 free bets from my 150, and that was a nice little payout there. So
Yeah.
those boosts are no joke.
Yeah,
Okay,
so once
so,
that game.
so talk a little bit about the boost too to novices out there and for dumbasses like myself. So what exactly are they doing with the boost? How does that work?
So they're literally just changing the odds since they manage their own odds to make it more favorable for you, for us as Cleveland fans, as Browns fans. We want to bet on the Browns. We don't want to bet against the Browns, so they make it more favorable. Like you're going to get more money for your $25 bet. You get a higher payout.
Yeah, so
because
Chris,
the
let's
odds
just
are
say
longer.
let's say you bet $100. If you did it in a different app, you would
Yep.
make $110 like profit, okay?
Yep.
So
I get
210 total. If you do it in the Tipico app, they're doing these big play boosts for our favorite teams where you bet $100, you might win like $150. Same bet, you just win more money.
Because they're changing the odds just to make it
Yeah.
better for us in Ohio.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool. I wasn't. I honestly I didn't know exactly what that meant. I see
Yeah.
it on the app, and I'm like, well, that sounds like all gravy. And sure enough, it is all gravy from what you guys are saying.
You should have
It's
seen
just-
how fast I put in my $25 free bet when I woke up after that New Year's
get
party.
those bet credits. And look, Gab's trying to do it
I
right
know,
now.
because like on Sunday, I missed my chance to bet on the Browns.
Oh,
Unfortunately.
you do know you can do live betting too.
Yeah, so then I
Which is crazy.
so I
You were
opened-
texting me. Yeah, we decided, Chris, you can join us for this as well.
Yeah.
We need to do a betting 101 show.
For sure. Because then I opened the app and I'm trying to get familiar with the Tipico app. And they have these rapid bets, which is that the same as a live bet?
Maybe.
These rapid bets?
Yeah, so they have live bets. Like if you pull up a game that's going on, like Cavs in overtime, you could go.
Yeah, it looks
you
like
could
it
go bet
is.
something like that.
Okay.
We have that weird buffer between NFL Week 18 and the NFL Wild
Yeah.
Card round. I think that's when we do our betting 101.
Yeah, there we go. I
pull
like
the
that.
typical odds up and really just break it down for everybody before the playoffs get here. People are going to be
Yeah.
watching with their family, with their friends and stuff.
Yeah.
Get everybody
Really,
up to
the only
speed.
bet that matters this week is the first bet in Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
You could do the Pete Rose's bet if you want. If you want to do something with the second bet in Ohio, but if you want to do the first bet in Ohio that Bernie did, a couple tenths of a second before Pete Rose, that $19,000 bet that Bernie put on the Browns money line for Browns to win, everyone can join in on that bet. So stay tuned for that throughout this week. But we're gonna have some cool promo boosts from Tipico on that, so we can all bet with Bernie. And hopefully make a little bit of money.
How crazy is it, too, that bet means so much more now that not only does Bernie have $19,000 on the line for the first sports bet in Ohio, but also it could knock the Steelers out of playoff contention. It's like the most Ohio bet ever. Bernie crushed it. And man, I just want the Browns to win so bad on
Yeah.
Sunday. Selfishly for Bernie's bet, selfishly for my own bet that I'm going to put in, and
Yeah.
so the Steelers don't make the playoffs.
That's right. So let's look at some other ones. Browns Steelers over under 39.
That's so low.
That's pretty low.
I mean, but did you see the Steelers the other night?
Ravens?
They were pretty bad, but then Kenny Pickett kind of turned things on in the
Yep.
second half the same way that Deshaun did. So I think I like that over the way that Deshaun.
So we
and
won the
Amari
first
Cooper-
one, 29-17. That was Mitch.
Yep.
Pickett's better than Mitch.
Yep.
So you got to think probably some more points.
But our defense.
Najee Harris looked really good.
He
Their
did.
second string running back looked really good. We're not very good at the run,
No.
especially up the middle.
No.
I feel like over all day on that.
The under has hit though in 6
I
straight
know.
Browns
I
games.
know.
That means
It's
we're
killing
due.
me.
That means we're due.
Yeah,
We're
hey,
due.
I like that. I like that.
Chris, over under 39. What do you think?
I'm going to go under on the 39.
I just can't even bring myself to care. All I could think about is that 19,000 on the money line.
Yeah, that's
Can
true.
you guys explain what parlay is?
So that's you
Or is
stack.
this too off topic?
No.
So you stack.
Gab's just trying to get all of her bets in right now.
Gab is like,
I
what
was
is this?
I was mad I missed betting on the Browns yesterday, because then when I'm looking at the app and all these other teams, I'm like, I need to do way too much homework on the other teams to
Yeah.
get confident.
We'll
in my
watch,
bets.
maybe we'll watch Browns
It's gotta be
Steelers,
Browns.
and we could watch that in the studio and then
Hell yeah.
just go over some bets.
Yes.
For sure.
Let's do
Yes.
that.
Yeah, so parlays stack a bunch of them together.
Oh, that's like the tweet that you had.
Yes.
The multiples?
Yes.
Dave is
Okay.
the
So
CEO
there's
of
money line.
parlay.
So there's money line and then there's parlay.
That almost came back too. I was like, oh, this bet stinks. And then I was like,
know.
oh, here we
Here we
go.
go.
What did you make, Nick? Did you get anything good?
I didn't do all I did was my $25 free bet I put right on their boost. That's the
Nice.
only thing that I
Okay.
did.
Yeah,
Cool.
I did
On their
Browns to score 20 points.
I saw that one too.
That was
You won
awesome.
that,
yeah, that was a good one.
I had a
So-
couple really cool ones. People were tweeting at me. People were winning a lot of money yesterday on that Browns game. Chubb's overhit, Amari
Yeah.
Cooper's overhit, DPJ anytime touchdown. I mean, that was a good game to bet.
So when you bet multiples like that and it goes on your bet slip in the app, is there an unlimited amount that you can pick, or is there a cap?
I think it probably maxes you somewhere between like
So
that 12
probability
to 16
wise,
range.
like if you go over like 10, it's like almost impossible.
Yeah.
To like win money.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna
Or to
that makes-
find that many bets. But there are a lot of bets in there.
All
But
right,
like
that
I've done
makes
10 in a
sense.
10 parlay.
Now, when you do multiples like that, and
Yep.
let's say
I love that Gab just hijacked this as a gambling 101. I love
know,
it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, just
No,
really,
it's all right.
It's burning questions. So, let's say you put 4 or 5 in there,
Yep.
and you're locked in.
Locked in.
Because some you can adjust on the fly if you don't think it's gonna hit, but not in Tipico.
Well, you
Someone-
could cash out. So say you put
Or
in a
that's what I meant.
parlay.
So
Yeah. Say you put a parlay and you've hit 3 of your 5 selections.
Correct, yeah.
And then the last 2, you're like, man, these last 2 might bust. You could just cash out to offset the difference.
Hey, how about not to break this up, but how about this? 144, 134, Donovan Mitchell on the line. Another
He's gone
point.
for 70. He's gone for
Whoa.
70 points.
71.
71.
Oh my god.
That's it.
From down 21.
That game is over. Down 21, Cavs win 145, 134. Donovan Mitchell 71 points.
Put Donovan Mitchell in
And look
the
at him-
MVP
look at him smiling.
conversation. Put Donovan Mitchell in the MVP conversation,
Wow.
please.
You know, Rocket Mortgage is just going wild.
71 points.
How do we down by 21 and we end up winning by 11?
Incredible.
Avalanche.
Also, breaking
There you
news:
go, Cavs Twitter.
Bills-Bengals game officially postponed.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So
That's-
scary
Yeah,
seeing down
yeah.
in Cincinnati.
No kidding.
I
Yeah.
think they said he has a pulse, but he wasn't breathing on his own.
Jeez.
Yeah. Prayers for them. That's
That's-
really, really scary.
Yeah, it is.
Donovan Mitchell just getting doused with water, and someone just threw a water bottle at him.
Yeah, if you're watching from home, if you're wondering why the camera was just stuck on Nick Padone for a while he wasn't talking,
Uh-huh.
because I was also watching the Cavs game.
There
for a
you
minute.
go. There you go.
It happens.
All right, back to some bets.
All right,
Over
really
under.
quick, wait, time out. Give me a 30. So you said if you think some are gonna, or no, you already cashed out, right?
Right.
If you were to have not cashed out, so like you said, you hit on 3 out of 5. Are you penalized then if you hit on 3 and that? So like, how does it work? What is the penalty? Like your just overall total of winning?
It's all or
Like,
nothing.
like,
you
what's
got to
the
hit
difference?
all 5. If
Yeah.
you put 5 in.
That's
Yeah.
what I want to know. You got to hit them all.
Gotta
or
hit 'em
is
all.
it
Gotta hit 'em
nothing?
all. Yep.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's valuable to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so those
That
are
was my
those
biggest
are the
question.
fun ones where Gab, you put $5, you could win like $500.
Yeah. But I see now what you mean. You wouldn't want to like do it on too many because the chances that you're going to hit on all of them are become
Look
lower
at
and
you.
lower. Okay, this is making sense to me. All right. I would be the type to cash out then. if I'm ahead. I say that now. Okay.
Parlay
All right.
101.
All right, over under. Kenny Pickett interceptions, 0.5. Chris,
Oh.
He's thrown an
Oh,
interception.
boy.
in the last
We're
7
going to
games.
pick him off. Yeah, we'll get
Yeah.
him. Denzel Ward's going to get him.
And we've been picking people off.
Grant Delpit, Denzel Ward.
Grant Delpit, by the way.
How about the emergence of Grant Delpit?
Yeah.
That's been nice.
Yeah, his second half to turn into a real NFL player after a lot of us has sanctioned him up to Canada. I mean, he's been really, really, really good. And when you look at guys, you know, to come back and have big years next year, could be without John Johnson III. Having a guy like Grant Delpit as kind of a mainstay, maybe another addition in that safety room, that'd be nice because he's been big.
Over under 1.5. Miles Garrett sacks.
Over, he lives for games like this.
He's definitely.
He would set the single season record, I believe. If does he need 2?
He needs 1.5.
He needs 1.5.
He said it
It's a
last
push.
year. He has 16. He has the record. Last year was 16. Now he has 15. So 1.5 will break his own single season record.
I hope he does
Okay.
it.
Heck yeah.
That would be really cool. That would give us something positive to end on.
Against Pittsburgh, too.
All right, so Gab, let's do this. Let's build a parlay with Browns players' stats. Okay, so those aren't released yet, but they'll be released throughout the week. So,
Can you build your own in the app then?
yeah, so they'll give you like the over/under of the projected stats for those players. So let's just say Deshaun Watson.
I get what you're saying, and you just pick them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so whatever they're going to be set at, Deshaun Watson, or do you want to go over or under?
Whatever it's set at.
Whatever it's set at. You think he's going to
Question mark?
blow out of the water, or you think he's going to digress?
I think he's hitting stride.
Yeah, I think over,
So I'm
right?
gonna go over.
All right. Nick Chubb, over, under.
I
I don't know what they're going to put this at. I would assume like
He was over 100 yards.
80. I think it was like 69 and a half last week.
Oh, okay.
I was like, how do you not take the over?
Yeah. I think you got to go over on Chubb, too. It's the last game of the year.
Do we go over on everyone?
Yeah.
Should we
of
just
course.
do one
Yeah.
of those 10-player parlay bets and go over on all of them?
Especially against Pittsburgh.
Against
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, we just
Why
blow them
not?
out of the water.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
I have that.
Didn't we just say
free
we're
money in
going
my app.
under a second ago?
No.
Oh, Chris.
Oh,
did.
Chris is.
did.
Chris is going under. Okay.
Chris is going
I
under.
said I'm going under. Yes.
Chris is the smart one.
Be a slugfest. Why not?
Chris, are you joining us in Bernie's bet? Moneyline Browns.
Yeah, of course. How can I not be on Team Bernie on that one? Let's go. Let's go Browns, baby.
What is your gut feeling for that game, Chris? You think
I think it's
What do you
going to be ugly. I don't
Think
know
it's gonna be
why. I
ugly?
think it's just going to be one of those old school throwback, ugly type of AFC North games that we're going to squeak out. I think we're going to win. Why not?
nice? Heck yeah.
Yeah, I pulled up for Chubb. Last time he played the Steelers, week 3 or 4?
Yep.
He had 23 carries, 113 yards,
Woo.
1 touchdown. Cooper had 7 catches, 101 yards, and a touchdown. And then actually Njoku went off. He had 9 catches, 89 yards, and a touchdown.
He's due. He's dropped a couple passes lately. I feel like he should have a big game. We'll go over on Njoku.
What about Njoku anytime touchdown?
I'd like that.
Because the Steelers, I think, linebacking room is pretty weak. I like Njoku anytime touchdown.
All right, we're getting our bets in.
All right, anytime.
We will lock these in throughout the week. We're gonna have a ton of Browns bets this week.
Yeah.
But that is all right. Any gut feeling for this game?
Yeah, I have
Nick?
one more bet I would like Tipico to do if they could.
All right.
Maybe like hey, Joe Woods is still a defensive coordinator play of the week, where you go Najee Harris over yards and Najee Harris anytime touchdown. I think I'd go with that.
I can't put that bet in.
Our defense has been so good the last 6 or 7 weeks, but our run defense still just
Yeah, it
sucks.
stinks.
It's
Yeah.
just like Washington just quit running the ball yesterday, but they could have. Like
That's because they have traffic cones at defensive tackle.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of nice going into the offseason and be like, all right, we know exactly what we need to address
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
defensive side.
It's
Yeah.
pretty clear to everybody.
Yep.
The mock drafts will be fired up after this week.
Oh boy, no more mock draft talk. All right, let's call it a night. Cavs win in overtime. Browns win this week, Victory Monday. And
Predictions?
predictions for the game?
Game score prediction for
Game
the
score prediction. All right. And then, Nick, I'll let you take us out of here. I'm going to go Browns 28, Steelers 14.
I'm going to go Browns 31, Steelers 19 for $19,000.
There you
First
go.
bet in Ohio.
I'm gonna go.
Browns. Oh,
Oh,
go
you go,
ahead,
Chris.
Gab.
I'm still trying to maybe Browns 27, Steelers. I like your 19, but I'll do something different.
Whatever you're feeling.
Steelers. I want to do the 19.
Do it.
Do it.
Because it's
Do it.
It's
Do
the
it.
coincidental aspect. So 27-19 for
I like that score.
Browns 13, Steelers 6.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey,
Didn't
all right.
do as- oh,
AFC North.
I'm gonna go low
That's
too.
right.
Chris went
Here's
19.
throwback.
Nick?
Now I feel like I have to do the 19 also. I might
Right.
do. Let's go 19 to
Tie, 19-19.
1913 Browns.
all right.
I think it'll be
All
lower
right.
too.
There we go. All right, Nick, you're back. I'll let you take us out.
All right, what a show. Thank you guys for watching Big Play Reflog. Huge thanks to these guys for having me back. It was so much fun. Miss doing it so much. We'll catch you guys next Monday. Huge shout out, as always, to Tipico Sportsbook. Go download that Tipico app. We talked a lot of betting 101 on the show. Go get your free $150 on the Ohio special. Make that deposit. You'll get $150. Huge shout out to our usual suspects, Shaq News. Go check them out for all the best video game content, streams, you name it, Shaq News. Go drink some Labatt, and we will see you guys next week. Go Cavs, go Donovan Mitchell, go Browns. See you. Peace.
It's time! Streaming live from Cleveland, Ohio, presenting the undefeated, undisputed heavyweight podcast of the world, The Big Play Reflux Show!